In today's business world, we have more to do in less time, and we're constantly challenged by time robbers, those things that steal our time. So welcome to today's Masterclass Mini, in conversation with our lead Masterclass trainer in time management, Hayley Mogridge.
Hi, Catherine.
Hello, Hayley. Now, what are your top 5 things that we can do to make a difference?
Well, I think the first thing about time management is that we have to be thinking small, that actually we have to be thinking about how do we save those small minutes, which in time, over a period of time, will turn into hours. So if you can save yourself 30 minutes a day over a period of a week or a month, that's a massive amount, a chunk of time to do something meaningful with. And that's really the biggest focus, is that we need to be just shaving a few minutes off throughout the day to make a big difference. So I think the first thing I would suggest is this, avoiding these. We've all been there, haven't we? Those boring meetings that go on and on and on. Half of them aren't relevant to us. They take much longer. There's people there that maybe could talk a little bit quicker, and you're thinking, I've got so much work to do. So how can we deal with those situations? Well, we can't be rude, but we do need to be assertive and request a very clear goal. So what is the purpose of this meeting? Request that. What are we trying to achieve? Is it to make a decision? Is it to share ideas? So ask for that goal, and if you're the person running the meeting, have a really clear goal in mind. The next thing I would say to you is, what about partial attendance? Have you ever considered only being there for the bits of the meeting that are only relevant to you? Now, if you are doing that, then it will also help the person who's running the meeting to be more focused on the time and to stick to an agenda. So if you know that you're to turn up between 2 and 2:30, then they're going to have some clarity around when that is and which bits they need to cover by then. So that's a really good one, partial attendance. And the final thing is about standing up. I don't know if you've ever done this, Catherine, but if you stand up, the University of Southern California did some research about this, and they found that if you stand up rather than sit down, you are 5 to 25% faster than decision making. So if it is a meeting where a decision has to be made, that will help people to be a bit quicker. And it also means that they're much more likely to keep it short because they're stood up and they're not sat down. Sitting down is a relaxed, comfortable, going to sleep position. The Japanese do this standing up meetings all the time, but you do have to keep it short.
Right, brilliant. So, but what about, Hayley, these face-to-face interruptions in the office? How do you deal with those people?
Well, that's a really good point, because again, we're there to build relationships. It's not just about the time, but how do we balance the two? So if you had somebody coming to visit you, you're sat at your desk, you're trying to do your work, and suddenly somebody comes, I think the first thing is have a look at your desk area, your space that you're sitting in. Is it a little bit too welcoming? Have you got a visitor's chair and they pull a desk up, How do you do that? How do you arrange your furniture or your desk or whatever it is so that it's actually not too welcoming? And if you haven't got anywhere to sit, maybe you can walk with them to the coffee machine and walk them out of your workspace. The other thing you can say is, sure, yeah, really happy to talk to you, Catherine. I've got 5 minutes. So you set that parameter from the very, very beginning. So you're not saying no, you're saying yes, but you're setting a time scale around that. How would that work?
Sounds good. I'm going to take the chair out.
And remove the chair.
Remove the chair. So also I manage a couple of people. Okay. So, they are coming to me, a number of times a day.
Yeah. And again, you don't want to be, do you? You don't want to be that negative manager that says, I'm not interested. You want to be listening to them, but it's about encouraging and coaching them to be good time managers. So get them to save up maybe 2 or 3 points. Say to them, I'm very happy to answer that, but could it have waited? Try to wait until you've got 2 or 3 things to talk to me about, because that will be a much better use of their time, because it's much more streamlined use of time as well as your time. So, for example, they might have an update on project or figures that they need to give you. They might have a question or an idea. So wait till they've got 2 or 3 of those things before they come and talk to you. And also I'd recommend that you get them to write things down. I know it sounds daft, but so many people don't write things down, and then they say, oh, I've forgotten, what did you say about that? So get people into the habit of having notebooks with them. Really simple.
Oh, I like
really
that.
obvious.
I like that.
Yeah.
Writing things down with your questions coming to me. So what about the people that, procrastinators?
Oh, procrastinators, yes. I'm quite good at this, actually, procrastination, I have to say, but I do have to battle with that. And those putting things off, I think the classic example is when you were a kid at school and you had a summer project that you had to get through. And I certainly was that person who always left it till the night before, desperately
last minute.
Yeah, totally. Desperately rummaging through, well, probably atlases or encyclopedias in those days, not online like it is now. But I would recommend that you do the worst jobs first. You know, sometimes our idea of the job is not, it feels daunting, but once you get to grips with it and you do it, actually it's not as bad as you think it is. Breaking them down into smaller things. So rather than that massive task you've got to do, it's a collection of smaller tasks, and you just do a couple of those. So you're sort of eating it in small bite-sized chunks. And this is a great one, the 5-minute remedy or hole drilling technique. And you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this task for 5 minutes only. And you set your timer and you say to yourself, I am only going to do this for 5 minutes. When the buzzer goes off, you can stop. But the likelihood is you will have cheated yourself into starting it, and then you'll be on a roll and you'll continue. So there's a few things that you can do to help with procrastination.
Okay, and if I have a very large task?
Very large
to deal with?
Well, say, breaking it down into smaller ones, or the hole drilling technique, or even just planning your day better. So chunking your day into 30-minute sections, or as we've got there, it's actually making me quite hungry, that pizza. Just having a slice, so each day is each half an hour is a slice, and you think about, does that warrant a half a slice, a full slice, a double slice, and you break it down into something that's a bit more meaningful. Allot time to different tasks. So, you know, time is like money. If we set aside a certain amount of time for an activity, well, we will take that time and we'll fill up that time. So it's about that planning. It's about planning and just assigning certain amounts of time to certain tasks. I hope that helps.
Thank you. It does. Thank you, Hayley. So if we can just recap, and if you can just recap on your top tips and takeaways.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one is about meetings. Really ask yourself, do I need to go? What can I do to make better use of my time? So you do need to be a little bit assertive. I think we get into a pattern of just turning up at meetings without really questioning if we should be there. And maybe other people are just trying to be polite by inviting everybody. So be very careful with that one. As you said, you know, the face-to-face interruptions, set a time scale. Don't make it too welcoming. If you've got staff, train them to be good time managers so that they save up 2 or 3 points before they come to interrupt you. The next one we talked about was about procrastination. So getting it started, just the 5-minute hole drilling technique, that can work. And finally, just generally planning your day into bite-sized chunks. So you've just got 30-minute sections to do something meaningful with.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Hayley.
You're welcome.
And if you've enjoyed that and would like to hear some more about what we do here at Masterclass, please do contact us, and we would really look forward to hearing from you. So thank you again, Hayley, for being in conversation with us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you.